Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 250, nice even number. We're almost like 3 episodes away from 500 uploads, so I'll see you in a minute. Who's out there? Susan, how's it going? Did I pull you away from your TV shows? Looks like it's way behind still. Done a few tweaks again, see how it goes. Alien Grey and a Sky Watchers video that we did, Mojo's. He hoaxed it, he did a pretty good job. Going down. Down to the bunker. How many levels is it? 60 odd, I think. 72 was it? Hello. Hello. Good to be back. I'll be back. Always a back. Despite everyone haters out there that trying to stop me. Okay, it should be dropping back. Here we go. Who we got out there? It's Charles, how's it going? Leon. Yeah, so we had a few trolls on, which we had to deal with. Unfortunately, I don't like blocking people because I know people lose their head with the UFO stuff, and eventually they see my stuff properly instead of just reading the titles or whatever. And I suppose I better type out that thing. So you can see here I've been working on a new format for the counter again. Some hacking CSS I did for Google's admin page, so I'll just bring up the counters on this screen so I can see what's going on. They haven't got a pop-out counter yet, so we have to make do with our own. Eventually they'll probably do it though. So better see if the zoom's working and everything. Hopefully my microphone's nice and clear. Should always be checking maximum volume. I've changed it from 5 seconds to every 15 seconds now, just to reduce some of the CPU again. There's always stuff to do behind the scenes, you see. Plus Google have been playing around with the code with the time zones. And they've made it a wee bit better now. And when you copy the last stream now, it doesn't queue it straight away. It waits till you're finished, which it should have been doing in the first place. And then it's queued up once you hit OK, which is how it should happen. They have got the nicest, easiest system. But you expect that with $1 billion company, right? And some decent coders. So today is Saturday, vid analysis. I can't even spell it today. My brain's working in reverse. But I've only had like 5 hours sleep, so didn't finish till really early in the morning, 3 a.m. I think it was. Video analysis, stories, recaps, whatever. That'll do. Yeah, once they're rude to people on my channel, generally I report them. If they're calling you like mental and other names, I just report them for harassment. That way it's a bit better than blocking. It gets rid of those people for good, hopefully. Google hopefully suspends their accounts, which is part of their new policies, right? You're not allowed to call people homophobic names and mentals and stuff like that. It's just not on. And of course, with ad, you got to make sure none of that's in the side chat as well. Else you get your ads disabled. And of course now they're hard on swearing. I told you that was coming in. So if you curse in the video, you can be limited on who can see your video. So yeah, this is why I restrict on these things now. You might notice some channels may have curved the F word a wee bit as well, because I noticed that when you get 1,000 views, that's $1 that you've lost, you know, in the pocket sort of thing, which can help. The only main problem I've got at the moment is my bed springs are gone on one side, and I'm sort of like on a ship at sea, and it's like, yeah, I lean into one side, so I think my bed's going to sink soon. It's over 20 years old now. You're meant to rotate your bed, you're meant to flip it and all that, just make sure the springs wear down evenly, but it's such a big pain in the ass. No one really does it. So, hopefully that's not a swear word in Google's book. So yeah, better just do a few checks here. We might sort of welcome the aliens in. See what happens. I realised I can actually mute that for my mixer. That should kill the music but keep the emanation going. Yeah, so yeah, we're figuring out some more stuff as we go. So if I've got it on repeat mode. It is running a wee bit slower, I noticed, on the local web browser, which is what runs all the emanation. So I'm not too sure why that's running a wee bit slower now. But there's always something, it's probably extra code to do with Google changes, maybe. A side chat. So, let's just, is Robert joining us, or I haven't seen him around for a wee while. So we had a guy called ConMac. Not sure what it stands for. Whenever I heard the word con, I always think of Tyler, because he's a con man. So I assume it means Connor. I forgot to ask him what his name was, didn't I? So yeah, we were meant to be getting him some pictures of his scene, and we haven't heard from him since, as far as I know. Susan was the last one talking to him. So if you haven't heard his story, which is quite an amazing story if it's true, we just have to, for the time being, assume it's true, because he put in the MUFON reports, but I'm not sure if it's been analysed or not, because I haven't got access to the full database. That's why we need people like Earl Grey, who are the chief investigator that has actually access to everything. So, but unfortunately he didn't want to come on. So what we're going to do, just close that one down. I was going to add to that if he was around and had submitted more information, but not sure what's happened to him. We often get people come on, so we've got to always be ready for anyone that's going to do a prank. We can listen to the stories, but whether we can say they're true or not is another thing. At least you got multiple witnesses, separate reports, sort of thing. Also, they may, with MUFON, they may take ownership of it, which we'll find out in a minute. Because they can profit from it, and they may ask them not to talk to anyone else about the sighting. So yeah. So that brings us to this other one that we were trying to find, about the abduction in Virginia, America. Does it have the case number there? Case number 106190. If you remember right, it hardly had anything there. 106190, was it? Brain's still a bit slow. So why is it brought up for all these ones? That doesn't make any sense. It should be just one, shouldn't it? So that's kind of weird. That one there it was. But why have we got all the other ones popping up? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Reported 27 years later. So, Blacksburg, Virginia. So why were these ones coming up? 1080, it's not even the same number. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, does it? Well, look at that description on that one. Utah. So we might leave that one there. Come back to that. Just check that one out. That's middle of this year. I'm not sure if we covered that one or not, but we have a read of it, see what it says. It's got no pictures though. And what was the other one that we got here? Alright, Ghost of Beaches, so we'll get onto that. So we'll just read out this one here. Now we can actually get its webpage. 5-hour abduction. Makes you wonder why the aliens are a bit slow that day, huh? We'll just read down to there. Where's the thing disappeared to though? It should have come up with the thing. Now let's just check it first. Maybe they've changed that code since I've last looked too. It's coming up with an error message. No. Come up with some sort of error. It was working last time I checked it.
5-hour abduction in Virginia.
Now it's coming up. It's giving some sort of pop-up message for some reason. Yeah, it's not going to give us the reader, full reader box of it.
Case 106,190. Two things about this abduction. There was at least one abductee and 3 witnesses to the incident, and the event occurred over a 5-hour time period. In Blacksburg, Virginia, a gray, disc-shaped craft descended, hovered 35 feet above the ground, and landed near the home of a family of 5, 2 brothers, one being the primary witness, a sister and both of their parents. The primary witness, his brother, sister and father apparently all saw the craft at various stages. The father was abducted, but the mother slept through the entire incident. The craft was approximately 25 feet in diameter, had a dome on top and bottom and 6 rectangular windows that emitted a bright, unwavering, yellow light. It had a highly reflective surface, fuzzy edges, and seemed to be rotating. The primary witness seemed to recall what he refers to as fumes that caused a hazy effect near the disc. See witness drawing below.
That's the first time I've heard of fumes from a UFO. But the disc description there sounds very similar to that guy from Ireland, right? A disc shape with a small dome on top and underneath. So it sort of does away with Bob Lazar's thing with having 3 pods underneath, which is similar to Adamski's design, which we know is a fake. So this is a drawing that they've done. So this is, remember we saw how bare the MUFON case number was? All this information is behind the scenes, right? And they haven't made it public. Only in their own sort of way, so you can't sort of share it very well, unless you're a wee bit of a computer scientist like me to know how to do things. So yeah, I converted it into a web page that we can actually sort of read, although the reader is having a wee bit of issue with it. So yeah, I thought it said it had a dome underneath, dome on top. Langdon craft was 25 feet in diameter. Dome on top and bottom, it says here, and 6 rectangular windows. So where's the dome on the bottom on this? Is that drawn by the adults or by the kids? What's that say? Fumes coming out the side. So kind of crazy having fumes coming out the side. But I assume it's not creating any wind, because it would be, if that was fumes coming out there, it would probably be circling, making like a little tornado of smoke underneath. It wouldn't mean it's waterproof either, would it? It wouldn't be able to go into the sea. Maybe this old technology coming to visit Earth, right? Maybe different alien race, but it does sound similar creatures, so we'll just keep on going. I suppose I better get more chunk of it in case it goes wrong.
The craft. The following is the testimony of the 35-year-old male adult who, at the age of 8, was the primary witness. I was 8 years old and we were living in a small home in Blacksburg, Virginia, as my father was a student at a local school. My younger brother and I shared a room and we slept in bunk beds. My sister had her own room. In the night in question, we had been told to go to bed around 8, and my brother and I were talking and had not gone to sleep yet. All of a sudden the room lit up. It looked like the light of a full moon. We looked out of our bedroom window. Our house had a fenced yard with a pine tree that was 30 to 35 feet tall. We could see an object just below the top of the tree. It was a circular disc that looked like 2 plates together. It appeared solid. It looked like it had a dome on top and the bottom. It also had square windows around the perimeter radiating bright yellow light. The pine tree next to the object was reacting by slightly swaying. It was not reacting like a breeze was blowing, but like it was being affected by the object's presence. It was as large as a school bus and it appeared to be rotating slowly. The following is the father's version of the event. Here is what really happened. In the evening in question, the kids' activity got me up. I went into the kids' room and saw it was very bright outside, like it was early AM. The boys were looking out the window and I pulled them back. By that time, they had been joined by my daughter. I felt angry at having to get up. I took the boys with me to the front of the house. There was a hayfield behind the house that had not been mowed. My son keeps referring to it as a cornfield. We walked around it as it was bright. I looked up and saw what appeared to be a craft about 75 to 100 feet off the ground, surrounded by many lights. I thought to myself that it was a helicopter, as there were several military facilities nearby. However, the number of lights made that unlikely. I counted 5 lights. This event bothered me for a while, but I put the event behind me.
Okay, so it looks like we got someone that's doing self-promotion in the side there. Don't do it because you'll get blocked, okay? You'll miss out on all the stuff that we do here, then you won't be able to join in. So, yeah, not too sure where Susan is, but yeah, keep an eye on that for us, Susan. I know you're probably watching the news or something. Okay, so yeah, quite an interesting story. Susan's read all this anyway, so she's probably not too interested in it. So let's have a read what they're saying about the entity and see if it sounds similar to what other people have seen. That's going to change screens again.
The entity. The following is the testimony of the 35-year-old primary witness. My brother and I started looking out the window. I remember saying UFO. My sister, hearing the noise, came into our room, looked out the window and started screaming. By that time my dad was in the hallway. I remember my mother slept through the whole event. My dad kept asking, "What is the helicopter doing here?" But there was no noise. I remember the dogs in the house woke up. The following is the sister's testimony. I was 4 years old at the time and was sleeping in my own room. I heard my brothers screaming and went into their room. They were looking out the one window in their room. I looked out the window and saw a craft sitting on the ground behind the house and a tall being walking towards the window. It was extremely tall with a gray body, but I could not see a face. I started screaming and our father came into the room. He took me to the TV room and told me to stay there. He proceeded to take the two boys out of the house, but I know not where. I do not recall when they got back.
Okay, Susan's asleep. She's been in the midnight oil. Surely it's not that late over there. Should be fairly early, shouldn't it? Yeah, so this looks very similar to the thing I saw hovering over my bed, except for it didn't have legs. Had the bobby head and the big blobby body. Kind of weird. So how many times have we seen they couldn't make out details of the face? So maybe there is a particular type of aliens that are not simply greys. Maybe they're biological robots of some sort that can enter a dimension and pop out somewhere else. So yeah, still crazy stories, I know, but still. We got a lot of witness accounts here. But the younger you are, the less likely you're going to remember things properly, right? So, wonder where the mum and dad testimonies are. The Fiver's version of event. Boys were looking out. So where's the mother? Dead? Where's the mother? I was looking at the side chat when this was being read out. There was a hayfield behind the house. So obviously there's a wee bit of a raw area there, which is a bit similar to the school ones that we heard. A paddock behind or something in the land. Referring to it as the cornfield. Why is he talking about the cornfield though? You hear a lot of sightings about ball lightning over cornfields. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Maybe the son's been kidnapped before and dropped off in a cornfield. Or taken to somewhere where it's a cornfield. Okay, entity. So what's it say there on the picture? What's that say there in the middle? Grey suit. So that sounds like a grey being. Don't remember hands. Don't remember face. That sounds very much like the Pascagoula case, doesn't it? They couldn't remember the hands and face very well. Or at least one of them didn't. So let's keep on going. It's probably going to flip.
Observations of the field investigator are: the main witness admits that he is not too clear on some of what happened. The event has bothered him ever since, causing him restlessness and sleepless nights. He decided to consult a hypnotist as an attempt to recall more of the event. He says that the trigger to do this was reading Whitley Strieber's book Communion 1, where the author had been helped by a hypnotist. He was not willing to discuss with me the results of those sessions, stating that he did not feel comfortable. When asked if the event had been discussed as a family, he stated that quite frequently it was discussed. He added that after the hypnotic sessions he recalled his sister was the one that saw the tall being when looking out the window, and that she had seen the being hanging on the father's arm, and that the father appeared in a trance. Everyone snapped out of the trance when the sister screamed. He recalls the father saying, "Go to bed, it's 2 a.m. There is obvious confusion as to whether certain scenes occurred at the beginning or the end of the event. The sister states that she suffered a head injury while in high school. She admits to having vivid recall about some parts of her life but little on others. She has been under treatment by a therapist. She has a vivid recollection of the night in question and is the only witness that claims seeing the entity. As to whether she has experienced other strange events, she states, many times. She sees things flying around while she is walking outside and she is used to it." She said that the entity was described as being well over 6 feet tall. The father is regarded by the children as being very pragmatic. However, he does not shy away from discussing the event. He was a bit unclear about the event when he stepped out of the house with the boys. I perceived in my interview places where I sensed he was hesitant as to what to say. The mother, while not a witness, is referred to by the witness as not surprised while learning of the event. She volunteered to him that she had been abducted since childhood. One witness saw the craft coming down. A second witness saw it on the ground with an ET outside the craft. The third saw it rising back in the air. All credible witnesses.
Okay. So she had a head injury. What's that actually mean? Let me see if I can adjust my bed a wee bit better again. Hang on. Damn bed. This like that. I could feel myself sliding more and more. Anyway, let's see how that goes. So, the mother, one not a witness, is referring to by the witness is not surprised. So that's why she's not really listed here then. She volunteered to him that he had been abducted since childhood. So this is a generation thing again by the sounds of it, isn't it? Seems like the common theme there. So they're interested now in the children. So it sounds very similar to Shelley's story, and makes you wonder if her brothers and sisters also have been abducted but won't talk about it. Because religious people, when they get abducted, it sort of breaks their world view, and they see them as demons, and they don't want you to talk about it. That's from what I've seen anyway. And of course you get the ones on the side chat, not side chat, posting on comments on videos saying about demons and all that, angels. So they're the angel demon crowd. Face disappearance unknown, glimpses of realities. So this one here is not what they were saying above, so we'll just get to that in a minute. Almost there.
Glimpses of other realities. The entity described in this case had gray skin and a long, narrow head. The father is said by the sister to have been escorted arm in arm by the entity to the craft, but the father, who is most likely in a trance, has not been forthcoming with further details of his abduction. The sister said that the being was well over 6 feet in height. Also encountered in the late 20th century were the very tall and hairless greys. These beings were said to be on the order of 7 feet tall and conversant in both telepathic and local earth languages. Based upon the sister's drawing and description, the illustration of the very tall gray below may be close to the entity encountered in 1993.
So, tall greys, 7 feet. It sounds very much Sasquatchy, doesn't it? And I see Glimpses of Other Realities, Volume 1. Linda Moulton Hill. Artwork by Lewis. Yeah. So for these ones, got pupils. So I don't know. Doesn't seem to match the description that they couldn't see the face. So I don't know. Sounds similar to theirs, but not. It still could be a robot. It doesn't need eyes and mouth, right? So it makes you wonder what they eat. If they've got no mouth, then it means more likely they're going to be some sort of robot. And if they've got a mouth, then it means maybe they live off some sort of liquid that's poured into the mouth. But the mouth part might actually be just part of the robot where it samples the air. Makes you wonder if they've been coming here for millions of years and collecting DNA from all different animals past gone. If they did eat, maybe they were eating mammoths, who knows? Maybe they had mammoth steaks, but like on the Flintstones, or dinosaur steaks. You can bet that if humans are around that time, which some believe we were, because they found carvings on bones and stuff on dinosaur bones. Yet a lot of people said that's been hoaxed because it comes from South America, of course. Makes you wonder. Also makes you wonder why claims of draining blood. What's the point of draining blood? Maybe because that's what they drink. Maybe that's what goes in the small mouth. Maybe that's their nourishment. If they're insect based, as you know, insects inject stuffed enzymes that sort of creates a liquid inside and then they suck it back out. Sounds pretty horrible, I know. So yeah, because their DNA's that way, that's why they eat, which to us would sound disgusting, but they might see us as disgusting, I suppose. So that's that story there. Unfortunately, I can't post a link to it, but if you're on MUFON, it'll be in their magazine, I guess. Sounds like their primary story this month. So, on to the next bit. Ghost Adventures just did an episode recently talking about an old spirit hag in the mirror. How many times have you heard that entities in the mirror before? So apparently, if we zoom in here, you can see there's a reflection there where it looks like someone's peeking around. Kind of almost looks like a hand, also on the edge there. But is it just something else, or is it actually real? Could it be a reflection of one of them with the camera? Kind of looks real, doesn't it? It's a bit hard to say. And of course there's this zoom up here. Kind of looks like a ghostly face. But not. It kind of looks like an old hag's nose here. But I think it might be just a matrix in off the light here. So you can see here he's taking a picture of the Polaroid. And you can see where the flash has occurred. But up here, it's like a 3-angled mirror. So you've got the main part of the mirror there, I think it is, and this bit bends around, And there's another one that bends around that side as well, so you're getting like a double reflection from over here. But we don't see that in the snap here. But what you can see here, it looks very similar to the face here. You can see like the flash has been making a like a pattern effect there. It kind of looks like a face of the person maybe. And it's being reflected on the side mirror. But because it's angled around, it's seeing a better angle of it than what the camera is straight on. So maybe that explains it, I don't know. But you have to go and watch the episode, I guess, and hear the story. They didn't do exactly enhancements on it though. So I decided to do one myself. It's pretty good. You can see here they got some other junk in the way here. Looks like a light of some kind. I'm not sure. But yeah. It would have been good to see that form on video rather than using flashes, right? But they didn't have it on any of the pictures. It's just on that one picture. And he was taking them Polaroid speed. So what's that? So every 5 seconds. So that thing's popped in and out in 5 seconds if it's a real entity. Again, I can't share a link to it because there is none. That's just an image I've loaded into the browser just to keep it in order so I didn't forget about it. So yeah, not sure what you thought of that one. Melbro Man and Matt Dillon's Cloven. Peepin' Tom. Well, they reckon it's a haggy woman. You know, you hear about entities and mirrors coming through as using it as a portal. What else? You've heard about incubus and succubus, and they're meant to be like a hag, but they show themselves as beautiful women, and then while you're having sex with them or something, they turn into this hag. So yeah, I think that was on Ghostbusters, was it? Didn't they do something like that? The movie. Yeah. So where is everybody this morning or afternoon? I thought there'd be more people on because we had quite a few on last time. What was this one? Speaking of MUFON, they put out this recommendation. Just me asking whether that was really MUFON, a MUFON webpage, but it looks like it is. But they're promoting Stephen Greer's movie of all things, and that's what sort of split up the community of investigators on MUFON, is that they used to have a lot of these crackpots being promoted on their symposiums, you know, presentations that they pay $10 each to go and watch. And they're making claims here on this report. Close encounters, clip reveals unseen UFO sighting footage. So it looks like they're giving it a really good plug here. Thousands of people contact has begun. So not too sure which one it is. What clip they're talking about. So let's see if we can open it up. But as far as we're seeing so far, it's been flares, balloons, other weird lights, which could be LED balloons, and what else? What else did people debunk that have seen it? I suppose it's not going to give us a clip, is it? What's that? Some junk coming up. How do we close that? So this is how they get you. These stupid pop-ups. Doesn't have a close button. Go away. So that's where this thing comes in handy. Gone. This is what you do when you do stupid stuff on your webpage. Use the plugins to get rid of it. Okay, so sequel to the UFO documentary Unacknowledged. Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind landed on digital this week. So who's promoting this? Some nobody, not a UFO person. So it's got a trailer. Previous work series. How forgotten spiritual knowledge holds the key to humans initiating contact with advanced ET civilizations. If anything, aliens probably look at us and think we're a bit backwards, I would say, with religion thrown in. From what I've heard, aliens believe that the universe is God, and we come from the universe, from the sun energy. Sun is what keeps us alive. Close Encounters, what's it saying? Break-in and photographic evidence. So who's out there watched it? Would you say that you almost fell asleep watching it? I've got yet to see it myself. Ellen Orange, who the hell are you? Kind of looks like Jaime Mason there, doesn't he? Or Santa Claus. He's got a Santa Claus suit on. Yeah. Obviously, he's a wee bit gullible. What I want is a hardcore video analysis guide to break it all down, and probably it'd be just totally destroyed. So yeah, you can see it's gone to a movie page here. So it's not. What's MUFON promoting this? You know, strange. That should be taken down, really. What are these idiots here saying about it? See if I can actually read it. I live in Mexico, and I met at least 20 people who saw overseas UFOs. Well, they're really religious people, and they see everything in the sky from Jesus Christ to Jesus and melted cheese on bread and all sorts of crazy stuff. Mostly balloons, because they use balloons a lot for celebrations down there, don't they? Fascinating documentary. God, hope to watch it soon. See, this is the impact that promoting on MUFON does, right? So they're trying to attract the same followers as Tyler. No wonder they try to reach out to him. Murder and attack visible in paranormal way. What the hell was he on about? Was that all they got? 4 people. So yeah, good on going. Managed to hook a couple there. MUFON. And probably lost a lot of credible people in the process. So they probably got 5 new subs and probably 1,000 unsub. So have you seen it yet, Susan? Oh, right. So, you was thinking my mind. I tried 3 times already and fell asleep. That's what worries me. I'll probably have to give it a watch. If the aliens were gods and we're the children, then they weren't very good parents. What some people get up to. Yeah. Plus they create a virus that basically kills off innocent people, right? So it's a strange god. And as some people say, when I die, he'll probably be laughing. So yeah. So what's going on there, Susan? Did you clear that, or we got some problems happening? Susan, wakey wakey. Just click the show button. Let's see. Government knows, and they are cool. Sleep single every time. Sleep every time. Yeah, it's kind of right. I was just reading your line. It went upwards. Okay, government knows, and they S. Yeah, so if you put any swear words, it's amazing what will be flagged. It will get that pop up happening. So yeah, Alien Edit put out another video. I'm not sure if I talked about it, but on there, he admits that he's friends with Tyler Clockner, and also the twins, as he calls them, the cousin bros from Third Phase of the Moon. So how credible is he? Like negative. So what's funny though, Mojo made a comment here. Mojo's the one you saw in the intro video. He gave me permission and source to the actual full video to analyze of the alien grey and the UFO that he captured. And pretty much everybody reckons it's a hoax. Me, I'm not 100% sure if that's true or not. We may be just throwing out the baby with the bathwater on that video. It may be totally legit, and that could be our first view of a real alien. So, me, that's what makes me a truther. Rather than throw everything out, we got to give some credit to the doubt, especially when you can't see, you can't prove how it was done throughout the whole video, and he would have had to have helpers on that. So they haven't come forward since 2011. So it's pretty old now. So he's talking here about the video. Talk about the pot calling the kettle black, the famous Third Phase of the Moon debunkers. So he's laughing at them debunking the moon CGI when they're actually the ones that were actually putting out a lot of it themselves. Photoshops, car parts moving in the sky and all that sort of stuff. An alien addict saying, I'd like to see them do debunks. Well, they claim to do debunks every time they have a video up. They talk rubbish about it, don't they? What is it? Because we don't think it's a lie. We don't think it's this. We don't think that. Blah, blah, blah. They don't actually add anything to it. But they do that just to get around fair use, I guess. So on to third phase. Before we get on to MUFON cases. So let's have a look at this one here. NASA cuts the live feed just when this happened. Now, how many times have we heard that nonsense? Because the space station's orbiting at 17,000 miles per hour. It's only in the sky over a region of the sky within 3 minutes, and it's gone. And of course, they go into darkness, so they turn off the camera until they pop out the other side, or they go out of signal range where it's broadcasting down to Earth or whatever like that, because it's rotating around. So just play this, and I'll probably play around with it just to make them sound a wee bit more intelligent. Mr. Kenny. Okay, let's get past that bit. They got their scary music on.
Third Phase Blake Cousins, welcome back everybody from around the world. We have some incredible imagery just coming in. We were watching the live feed from the ISS as it was passing over South America, and we're looking at something that defies logic. Now, take a look at this. This is what caught our eye. We've got the footage. We're going to let it roll a little bit, but I want you to keep in mind, if this were city lights below, where is the rest of the continent of South America?
Straight away, mixing in the wrong view where it's orbiting there. You can see here on the map, which they've kindly left on. They haven't normally hoaxers clip off information like this, and you can see that it's now over here, hidden away from South America. So let's just keep on going.
It doesn't exist. This thing seems to be flying on its own, very close in proximity to the ISS.
Here we go.
We're going to be analyzing it very.
There it is. There we can see it a bit better now. You can see it's just off the coast there, which you'd expect it to be city lights, but it's more over the water here. So let's just keep on going.
Get your thoughts.
You can see it doesn't look too big. It doesn't look big enough to be city lights at that point.
What's incredible, when we were watching the live stream with the bunch
you can see here on this map here, you can see where the lights, they expect to be lots of lights. Brazil, less down, heading towards this way. Smaller cities, more jungle. But you can see here it's more out to the Falkland Islands down here.
Other people, approximately, I don't know, 850 viewers from around the world. Everybody on the chat started to say UFO. What the heck is that? That's when we
see, another giveaway is you can see that it looks like lights blinking like a Christmas tree, right? So we know it's not going to be a UFO straight away. We know it's going to be something man-made from far away.
Recorder and started to record everything. We keep a close eye on NASA, and it's a good thing.
You can see here even a satellite passing in the way underneath.
A lot of people around the world are as well, because whatever this is, it needs to be shared.
No, it doesn't, Blake. It doesn't need to be shared. Unless it's really a UFO. So you can see all these satellites passing. Or possibly space drink as well.
We're going to let it roll a little bit more.
You can see it's sort of going on an angle too.
Comments below if you've got any idea.
Heading towards,
some kind of
slowly down.
Flanking the ISS or some secret Space Force program.
Yeah, Space Force. It's jumped straight to the conclusion it's Space Force. When I saw it, first of all, I thought, squid boats out sea. They use bright lights to attract the squid, and they do a lot of squid fishing down that way. And yeah, if it's near Falkland Islands, which we'll find out is true, because other researchers had looked into it more, the boats will be close to an island, so they head back into land. And that's how they make the money, of course, on those islands, is fishing. So just looping it there. So where's the map again?
We grabbed our Screen-O-Matic.
Can't quite see where the map was. Right here. So let's see. You can see it's heading definitely on an angle. So the spaceship's going down this way. And then it goes in, out again. So you can see it curves up there. So obviously it's in that black spot zone. Remember we're talking about there's an anomaly that occurs with magnetic fields where they turn off the satellites right about here anyway. So it's heading towards the black hole of magnetic anomalies where they turn off the electronics because it destroys it. And then it comes back to life again as it passes by. So, depending how high it is in orbit, of course, as well. Because the atmosphere, the ionosphere doesn't protect it because of the hole. So you can see here, it probably is going to lose transmission as it goes back on this leg here, which means it's going on a curve on the because they've sort of stretched out the map to make it look like it's a normal map, but you got to remember it's a curved globe. So it's a shame they don't have actually a globe, converting it back into a globe so you can see how it would lose signal.
What's incredible, when we were watching the live stream with a bunch of other people, approximately, I don't know, 850 viewers from around the world, okay,
where's it get cut then?
We're going to be speaking with.
So it's coming up near that. No, where's it getting cut?
Renowned researcher that goes.
Doesn't say, does it? Where's it get cut, Blake? It's in the title. Or is it going down that way now? They must have been moving the camera at the same time. So obviously someone was checking it and then turning it off. Can't see where it gets cut. So I hate that silly music as well. So anyway, so what is other debunkers saying? I wonder if anyone said in the comments. What did you think it was when you first saw it?
Oh yeah.
Hey, Steve Connor. Is that the Connor that we were talking to? Anyway, we'll find out, I suppose. Welcome to the channel anyway. Steve King has again. Various UFO signal last month in India. I've not seen any reports other than stuff that's explainable. I've tried 3 times. Read that. What are they doing in the ocean? Yeah, squid boat fishing. They use these great big huge lamps on it because the squid get attracted to the moon light apparently. And of course it allows them to capture the shrimp and stuff in the water because other fish are attracted to the surface. Not sure why people like squid so much. I don't particularly like it myself. The squid rings are generally okay, but a lot of them, they grind it up, don't they, and make it into a squid ring again so it's easy to chew. But yeah, I'd rather have lobster any day, which apparently was prison food back in the early days. They classed it as non-upper class food. And they used to feed it to the convicts in America, Canada I think as well, so if I remember right. You can Google it and find out more information on that. But yeah, it might be a good reason to go to prison to have lobster every day for dinner. You probably get sick of it, right? Thumbs up, really? Third phase. Putting up more junk as UFOs. Truth is out there, yes. The out there channel is truth. The corner of the larger ship's cloak. So they reckon it's cloaking ships. Nah. Whoa, they have blinking lights if they're cloaking. That's why around the world the government are telling us that we're crackpots, tinfoil heads, because we believe that third phase move puts up as proof of aliens. That's not, unfortunately, and just making more of a laughing stock. This is why newsreelers laugh at us, because they air some of these clips from these big channels. Stephen there. Strange, you can see a red light goes through it. I didn't see any red light there. But you got to remember that some of these cameras on the International Space Station are actually filmed from the cabin by the people, and of course you get reflections of lights inside the cabin also on the footage. So I'm not too sure if that was an outside camera that's shielded or inside the cabin bay. I can tell you exactly what this is. A spaceship stuff. No, totally wrong. Great, the aliens finally show up. We all know they are never going to tell us. So these are the type of people that need to be educated. Whenever NASA cuts the feed, you know it's ET. Or they're out of range, or there's a technical fault, or there's a handheld camera and they stop filming through the window. So yeah. It looks like a city in the sky. That one's getting close to it. So not too many people here. I wonder if they delete negative comments though. You'd think someone would have a clue, and it'd be like the pinned comment up the top there saying debunked. So this is the thing with these fraud channels. They never ever, even when it's been proven beyond doubt that it's man-made, they never change their head and they say, watch this now before it's deleted, and they leave it up for years, collecting clicks. So yeah, that should get a downvote in my book. How much did they make off that one? Quite a lot. This one got a lot of views, 108,000 views. Put 3 or 4 ads in it. That brings it up to like $500 to $1,000 in their pocket. So there you go. Maybe I could be a hoaxer and make lots of money too, but I'd feel guilty if I did. I see it as dirty money. So let's have a look at the other stuff they got up here as well. But I'll bring up what Scott Brando said here. He's just got part of it for some reason. And he debunked it when it was 8,000 views. And it's still going. Here's the latest hoax video by Third Phase of the Moon. Of course, NASA cut live feed after taking those lights. Here's the hoax video by Third Phase of the Moon, which we just watched. They also have been shown actual city lights recently too. I think we may have debunked those. Yeah, I caught them faking last year, and also Tyler. Just saw Third Phase video and check NASA's live feed. Most definitely fishing boats. Hey, there we go. So I replied to that one too, saying, yep, you could see the lights flickering and map is more out to sea, so only option would be squid boats. So there we go. You can see it too. No one trusts them, or should they take their word? Well, we don't take their word. That's why we look at it ourselves and look at all the information, the map location, and what's in that location. So I'm not sure if there's a map. Has he got a map up? Oh, here we go. So what do we got here? Some hoax promoters shared videos about weird lights, fleet of UFOs. The latest lights are squid. Right, he said squid fishing boats too, from Falkland Islands. We explained those lights in 2003, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. So what's this strip showing us here? Looks like it's on that bit there. Not too sure what we're looking at here. Oh, there's the Falkland Islands there, isn't it? So are they out to sea this direction? I don't know. Not sure how you're meant to look at that, Scott. It's not very well explained, is it? So what do we got here? Going back over years, is it? April 21st. So the same thing's there every day in the night time. So that sort of debunks it, doesn't it? You wouldn't have a UFO just sitting there. And what's that one say there? I wonder if that's updated there. Now it's funny, I start losing subs and then suddenly I get more back. I'm not sure what Google's up to. Something fishy in Atlantic night. NASA. So, there's an article here about it. Oh yeah, did it go up? 72 before, wasn't it? So, sensitivity to light. What's it saying here? We'll just have a quick read out of that, see if it works.
In December 2012, the NOAA National Geophysical Data Center and the NASA Earth Observatory released a new map of the Earth as it appears at night. Built with data from the Visible Infrared Imaging Radiometer Suite (VIRS) on the Suomi NPP satellite, this revision to the iconic Night Lights map offered better clarity and resolution than ever before, and much more sensitivity to light. It also offered several surprises. VIRS detected an abundance of human activity amidst the rural natural gas fields of North Dakota. It found extensive light in the bush country of Western Australia, where most people thought there should be none. And then VIRS found something fishy off the coast of Argentina.
So what do we got? Argentina, there we go. Auckland Islands there. What's that out there? Fish boats out to sea. What's it say there? Human activity offshore. So this goes way back a few years. You know, you think Third Phase would do some research before putting up something, wouldn't you? How many years they've been doing it? They're meant to be researchers. So here it talks about Falkland Islands. Adored with lights. So let's just read out some more of this here.
About 300 to 500 kilometers, 200 to 300 miles offshore, a city of light appeared in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean. There are no human settlements there, nor fires or gas wells. But there are an awful lot of fishing boats. Adorned with lights for night fishing, the boats cluster offshore along invisible lines, the underwater edge of the continental shelf, the nutrient-rich Malvinas Current, and the boundaries of the exclusive economic zones of Argentina and the Falkland Islands. The night fishermen are hunting for Lex argentinus, a species of short-finned squid that forms the second largest squid fishery on the planet. The squid are found tens to hundreds of kilometers offshore from roughly Rio de Janeiro to Tierra del Fuego, 22 to 54 degrees south latitude. They live 80 to 600 meters, 250 to 2,000 feet below the surface, feeding on shrimp, crabs, and fish. In turn, ilex are consumed by larger finfish, whales, seals, seabirds, penguins, and humans. The fishery is fueled by abundant nutrients and plankton carried on the Malvinas Current. Spun off of the circumpolar current of the Southern Ocean, the Malvinas flows north and east along the South American coast. The waters are enriched by iron and other nutrients from Antarctica and Patagonia, and they are made even richer by the interaction of ocean currents along the shelf break front, where the continental shelf slopes down to the deep ocean abyssal plain.
Yeah, Charles made a statement inside there. In fact, my typing didn't work very well there. As soon as I hear the voice of Blake, I turn off nearly everything on that channel. It's just rubbish. Yeah, it is. But people are still drawn to it, and they're up to, what, 750,000 subs. But only, was it normally 20,000 watch each episode, but 100,000 is one of their high ones. So this one again, for some reason, got a lot of attention. Kind of stupid, really. But yeah, they're talking about this shelf going around here where they do a lot of fishing. Shelf break here, so it's going deeper and deeper. That's where all the rich nutrients come up, and the shrimp and everything else feeds on it, and other fish feed on the bigger fish, the smaller fish. So yeah, and there's Falkland Islands at the bottom there. Oh, look at that. UFO! I'm surprised they didn't include that in their footage. But what's that? A fishing boat. There you go. That's what they look like. They got these booms that they bring down, and they got this whole rank of lights on them. And of course, you got the oil rigs that also have similar lights on them. And you can see here people are fishing next to the boat too, which is a bit dodgy, isn't it? Squid fishermen use the bright lights to draw fish and squid towards the sea surface. Now there you go. So they're fishing at the edge of this thing here, which is what I said. And further down too, by the looks of it. Closer to Falkland Islands. So that strip is that strip there going out, by the looks of it. And the boats are all out this way. Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive study there. Explain that. So on with the next one. Close that one. What's that one? Same thing, was it? Yes. I must have put both there for a reason. What's this one? So other ones coming up, so we'll come to those videos. Let's have a look. And 15 hours ago. What's really going on beneath Cyan Mountain? Is that the one the Stargate uses? Is it military base there for NORAD? Is that the one? They don't want you to see this. Clickbait, clickbait. How come these guys can get away with it? Who's he talking to there? What's that one? New video, never before seen. So another clickbait title. No, never seen before. Maybe I should start using clickbait titles. New story from Island, never heard before. I suppose it won't work though. Because we found out that Google suppresses my channel and you can't even find it in searches anymore. Unless you do a lot of tricks and filtering to get it up. So that's the one we just looked at there with the squid boats. They keep putting up Egyptian stuff with I don't know what that was meant to be. A picture on the wall. Google Earth pictures. So we've been through that before, haven't we? So let's go through it. New video, never seen before. So let's have a look. I suppose we've got to do the voice thing. It's still on. Blake Cousins here.
First time, can you tell us about some of the mysteries that you've been involved with as of recent times?
Actually,
Egypt.
Our trip unfortunately had to be cut short by a few days because of the worldwide events that are going on.
C19.
So we weren't able to go into what's called the Osiris Shaft, which is a vertical series of shafts that go into the Giza Plateau, about 200 feet underground in the bedrock. But I had been there twice before, and this time there's a site at Abydos, which is in central Egypt, and it's an ancient dynastic place. But there's a structure that was built on purpose underground there out of a combination of granite giant granite blocks, some weighing 60 tons, and then the perimeter that it's inside is made of quartzite. So the granite comes from Aswan, which is hundreds of miles to the south, and then the quartzite comes from Cairo, which is hundreds of miles to the north, and it's been off limits to the general public more or less forever. So we were able to look down into it, and all of a sudden, because of the influence of our tour director, this man came up to me and simply said, "Let's go." And he let me go down into the Osirion for half an hour by myself.
Oh.
So you're saying unprecedented access you were given to, and to a place that hasn't been revealed to the public for the first time. Tell us, Brian, what did you experience down there? What did you see?
Ghosts.
Well, it's a very, like a lot of the megalithic sites, it looks very industrial in nature. You know, people call everything a temple. Temple of the Moon or the Temple of the Sun.
So basically, they're saying it's an underground factory because it's too hot to work above, so they build a tunnel underground and work down there instead. It kind of makes sense because they do it in Australia, don't they? When they hit 45 degrees Celsius and all that, they have to go underground. Opal miners. So they only dig in Australia for gold and opals when it's not too hot, because the machines can't operate above 45 degrees Celsius for too long. So yeah, so nothing really being told here. We know they've been doing new diggings here and finding new grave sites and all that. But yeah, be good to actually see some of his own video of underground tunnel instead of this interview, right? So it's probably going to end up in History Channel. Let's see, new video of the New World Underground. Yeah, just like still photographs that they're repeating, are they? So what was the title again? Never before seen until now. Well, there's not really much to see, is there? Just talking heads again. So yeah, I don't know. I sort of got bored of Egypt. I always thought that Egypt was built by someone other than the Egyptians that are now there, and they just inherited it and probably ransacked it and destroyed it, you know. But before, in the ancient times, it probably had sort of like irrigation, grass, and all that sort of business working. And it probably had humans working like hell there. Probably what happened is a famine probably happened and wiped out thing, or some invaders come and killed off the people there. And of course they didn't have it written down, and the knowledge got lost and how to maintain it all. But like us, you know, if there's a major disaster, who's going to make computers? Who's going to repair the electronics that die after 5 years or 1 year? And batteries, you know, does anyone out there know how to do all that sort of stuff? China is a big part of it now. It's all outsourced there, but I'm pretty sure there's still Silicon Valley in America, and there's a few people in New Zealand that can do it. But they tried to think about building a factory to produce electronics in New Zealand, and we just didn't have enough power. Because we're all hydrojams here, we don't need nuclear power, and factories need a lot of power. They had an aluminium smelter down at the bottom of New Zealand that was basically consumed most of the power from one particular dam. I'm not sure if it's still working anymore. I think they closed it down. But the population has grown, more power supplies needed because everybody's going online. So yeah, not too exciting, that video. Clickbait title, of course. What else we got? They don't want you to see this. Is that the same interview? Let's have a look.
Right, well, let's just get to it. You know, things are going down and we're all being isolated at the moment, but the news...
Hang on, that's that fraud. What's his name? Let's see, is it in the thing? Yeah, Michael Seller. Not to be mixed up with Robert Sellers. This guy is Expo, what do you call it? Expo Politics Australian guy. Really dodgy guy, making secret space claims and working with Corey Good. So that's why it's on third phase, because they've changed, of course, and they're not promoting rubbish anymore.
Doesn't stop in
Lies.
regards to reverse engineered technology from ET crashes from around the world. What's going on with this secret space program in China right now? How did they gain these assets?
Well, when we look at China's secret space program, we need to understand that it goes back to the 1940s because the lead Chinese scientist, Dr. Shen Shen, actually was a full professor at Caltech and JPL, and actually was one of the lead scientists working with the US Air Force to understand the retrieved flying saucer craft that were brought back from Germany, and also the crashed extraterrestrial craft from New Mexico. And so this Chinese scientist was working for the US Air Force right up until 1950. And it was then that he was basically accused of being a communist spy and deported back to China.
I'm just eating a sandwich here, so there's no evidence of this though, all these claims. We know that paperclip happened and Von Braun basically pioneered the American rockets based on V2 technology. If they had that technology back then, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be using rockets. They'd be having these flying discs going upwards, right?
And after a 5-year legal battle, he moved back to China in 1955 in a prisoner exchange organized by President Eisenhower. And he then basically set about helping the Chinese set up not only a conventional rocket program that we know about in terms of their satellite launches and their ballistic missile weapon systems and their lunar probes and so forth, but also a secret space program using electromagnetically powered craft. And this was something that he helped pioneer way back in the 40s and 50s with his work with the Air Force that he took back with him to China in 1955.
So the scientists that headed back from China that once worked for our own United States government went back to China, revealed our secrets to that government. But how does that answer the question to the technology that they obtained? Were there crashed UFOs or flying saucers in the region of the Red State?
Well, what happened was that when he went back to China, he was the expert on...
See, my problem straight away with this, let's say a smartphone come down back in 1944, way before silicon chips. We wouldn't know what to do with it. We wouldn't know how to replicate it, operate it once the battery died, because we wouldn't be able to make a lithium-ion battery back then. You'd have to hook it up to some huge lead acid to work out the voltage without blowing it up. It would have funny writing on it, so you'd only be able to play around with it, so you wouldn't know what it's for. This is the same with UFOs, right? These people making these claims. So people telling stories but no actual proof, no videos. Yeah, so I'm very skeptical of these claims, although we know that Trump's signed a thing for Space Force, and none of us know what it really means, right? Does it mean they got some exotic new rockets, or are they working with SpaceX to develop new craft? Are they going to fund some Bigelow or people like that new craft now? Or have they got it already? Is always the claim. So that could be the triangle technology we see in the skies that people claim to see. Some of it might be that secret space program, right? Flying platforms, as they call it. So just carry on. Let's see if he says anything.
These kinds of really advanced technologies that were being discovered. The Chinese government were very incredulous about the whole idea of UFOs. In fact, Chairman Mao thought UFOs were a Western trick. So whenever there were reports of flying saucers and crashes and all that sort of thing, I mean, he thought that this was all part of some kind of attempt to manipulate China, because China was technologically kind of like behind the United States and behind the Soviet Union. But this Chinese scientist, Dr. Shen Shushen, I mean, he was the expert, so he would go along and he would look at whatever was retrieved. And even though the Chinese communist authorities basically like really poo-pooed the whole idea that there was any real substance to this whole UFO field, nevertheless, scientists like Dr. Shen, you know, they kept on accumulating data until the time came when China would have enough resources to start to develop a reverse engineering program, because their ballistic missile program and their satellite program in the 60s and 70s were very, very expensive.
Okay, so why then did the Chinese have a spy that was in aerospace for 25 years, wasn't it, that we talked about probably 3 months ago, talking about Chinese spy that actually had a basement underneath his house with a collection of stolen top secret paperwork plans for the space shuttle and all that. It had lots and lots and lots of different things, and he was feeding it back to the Chinese government. If they had all this secret technology back at Eisenhower, why they want to be researching the space shuttle and how it works and duplicate it and their rockets. So all this doesn't sort of make any sense whatsoever. Just another story to disinformation, really. Then you can then just say that the UFOs you're seeing in the sky are not aliens but actually ours. So it's all to do with the disinformation for what I can see anyway. And I'm not sure what you think about all this stuff. Yeah, China takes all the coal, all the metals, gold, silver, gems. But they just don't take it from Australia, they also take it from Canada and America. And all the firewood, all the wood for cardboard from South America and other places. It's not clickbait title. The access video was never seen before in public, sorry. But video title is accurate. We got a believer in the room. It's clickbait, mate. Just like this one is. They don't want to know about this crap.
China, you know, was basically going through chaos, you know, the Cultural Revolution. So it was only until the early 1990s when China under Deng Xiaoping basically became industrialized and was able to generate enough funds for developing a secret space program using a lot of these electromagnetically propelled principles that Dr. Shen had been discussing and wanting to implement for decades.
So the technology that was experimented with by the US and then later through this Chinese man that headed back to China, going over the technology in the 50s, now basically 70 years later, where has this technology gone? And are we seeing it in the skies today? Are we seeing that there is a retaliation due to the Space Force enactment by our own
We're certainly not seeing it on third phase of the moon, have we?
The red state?
Well, when we're looking at China, you know, we really kind of start looking at that period from, say, early 1990s up until around 2012 as the period when they really put a lot of effort into studying and reverse engineering all of the information that they had on these advanced propulsion
Where's this
systems
guy get
that
his
were
information
part of
from,
these
really?
crashed UFOs that China had learned about from.
Did he get of Corey Good? Just terrible, isn't it?
From Dr. Shen in the US, that China was able to recover from its own territories in terms of places like Tibet or the Gobi Desert, and also the legends of Shambhala. I mean, there's an account that in 1970, both China and the Soviet Union actually invaded a UFO base belonging to the inner Earth, to an inner Earth civilization, and that was in Western Mongolia, and that happened in 1970. So there's stories that the Chinese retrieved these flying saucers that the Soviets and the Chinese saw in the skies in the border regions, and that each thought that the other was using for espionage purposes, but eventually they tracked it all down to this UFO base in Western Mongolia, and first the Russians and then the Chinese invaded that base, and basically they fought over what was there and took as much of it as they could with them.
So the invasion of Shambhala, where did the materials come from? Can you go into a little bit more detail on this?
Sure. When we're looking at legends of Shambhala and Agartha, I mean, there are a number of Westerners who traveled to remote regions of China and Mongolia, that whole Gobi Desert region, kind of in the early 1920s and 30s. One was Ferdinand Ossendowski. He was a former White Russian officer. And another one was the painter, spiritual guru Nicholas Roerich. And both of them found these legends about Agartha. Both of them interviewed monks, Tibetan monks, because in Mongolia belongs to the Tibetan branch of Buddhism. So Ossendowski in particular spent a lot of time with the Bogd Khan in Mongolia, and he's the third highest ranking Tibetan Buddhist cleric. First you have the Dalai Lama.
Oh yeah, makes it more credible, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Makes it less credible to me. Religion. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. What's really going on? Okay, let's have a look.
Missiles or space vehicles through mutual support arrangements with other commands. This is coming directly from the site of NORAD. They did state space vehicles. Is NORAD out there to defend against extraterrestrials invading Earth?
Oh, the Space Force.
Insight from a person that shared information from a person who works inside NORAD and the implications behind ET and unexplained objects that do enter our atmosphere. Listen up, everybody.
You have a relative that worked for the Air Force?
He worked at NORAD. He actually worked for NORAD. And,
wow.
But getting him to tell us stuff is like pulling teeth, of course, But so we only see him like every blue moon. But we get together, we always just try to get him drunk or drinking, and see if he'll give us information. And,
okay, so it's just a story. Again, could be someone doing a prank.
He knows I'm into it real big, Yeah, well, I mean, he's a cool guy, and but he's very, he's very careful when he relates to people, and so this we've all just decided we'd get him drunk and see if he'd tell us a little bit more. He knows what's going on, but as he was getting ready to retire, I was asking him some pretty serious questions, and he finally he goes, look, I'll tell you right now, he goes, I am aware of several, during my course of being at this place, he goes, there have been several times where we've had things, radar hits, where there have been things going at speeds that I know, we are not capable of going. He goes, where?
Okay, so we've heard that before of radar hits from military men before, so that sounds credible. But it's not really what's going on beneath the mountain, is it? It's really what's going on in the skies, radar hits. So yeah, it's still clickbait title.
I was working, and he wouldn't tell me exactly where, but I think his brother told me he monitors like incoming ballistic missiles and stuff coming over like Alaska. I think that's his area. But he said that some of these things were going like 6, 7, 8,000 miles an hour. But he did tell me, he goes, David, I'll tell you right now, he goes,
even though I think he retired as a colonel, but when I was talking to him, he was a captain. He goes, there are things in our military that even I don't know about. He goes, there's parts of our military that even if you're in the military, you're not in the know. He goes, I'll just, and he goes, and I can't really, he goes, I won't say anymore. But, so, I mean, it's very interesting that it's such a hush-hush type thing, and I mean,
really?
It wasn't that he was scared or anything like that. He just was telling us, he goes, there's stuff, in our military that...
So they compartmentalize people, so they're not going to tell the full story to everybody, are they? What's going on in the skies, because if they don't know what's going on in the skies, they can't say they're defending the United States, and because you're paying all those taxpayer money for protection from invaders. So yeah, is it? It's not really saying whether it's aliens or not, whether it's other military weapons being tested. 8,000 miles per hour. What's that? I think he said it was 8,000 per hour. G-force. Not G-force. What are we looking for? Mach speed. What's that? I think that's Mach 8, isn't it? Does it tell us speed of sound? There we go. So it's 10 times the speed of sound. So what year was this? What are you talking about? So what's the fastest jet? Fastest fighter speed, Mach speed. I think 10 is possible. Let's have a look at that. What are the fastest planes? Of course, we can. This is for man before they pass out. We can't. They probably can go faster if they don't have a pilot in it. So there could be drones, long-range tanks there. Does it actually say the speed? Mach 2 is not really fast nowadays. What's that one? 2.3. To the news, 3.3 generated fighters. 2.5. What's that one? They go look faster than that. Come on. Mach 2. .3. Gotta be a lot faster than that out there. Especially when you're diving. I think a pilot can do 10 Gs for 5 seconds before they pass out. Here we go. 6.7 now, we're getting up there. What's that one? Kind of looks like a rocket. What's that one? X-15. Is that the same one? No, that's SR-71. And that must be it there. Let's get up to Mach 7. So that looks like, what year was that? X-15, 67. So they were able to do Mach 7 back in 1967. So if the Americans were doing it, you can bet the Russians were doing it. Chinese maybe not. Let's see. Fighter jet. See, the Google's not giving us what we want again. See, we've already seen it can go faster than that on some of these prototypes. Yeah, I think 10 is achievable with rocket technology and no pilot in it. Fastest drone plane. Fastest, I should have said. Okay, so what do we got here? Military drones, Mach 2, Mach 1. I think there's going to be more than that out there that we don't know about. X-43, what's that one? That's ones we want to hear about, ones with the X in front. See, that one looks like it's going to go fast. Here we go, Mach 10. Da-da-da-dun. Fastest aircraft, what year was that? So it had a pilot in there, I guess. Let's see, what's it say? Wing boosted rocket. This is why you do research to see if it's possible with our technology, and it was. Purpose. Part of NASA, Hyper X program, secret space program, perhaps, is where it comes into there. Involving American Space Agency, there you go. Orbital. This is where the X stuff is probably what they're mucking around at Area 51. Kind of looks similar to what we've seen in the sky there with the triangle craft. Could this be part of the secret program they're working on? Aurora. It looks very similar to the Aurora, doesn't it? High altitude. Mach 10. It probably uses some sort of plasma, ion plasma engines. So it doesn't need fuel. Takes it from the atmosphere as it's moving along and splits the atoms and creates a lot of heat. What's the engine? Supersonic combustion ramjet. So we have to look at what a scramjet is. I think it sucks in engine fueled with hydrogen fuel. About 1 kilogram, 2 pounds of the fuel was used. Unlike rocket, scramjets powered by vehicles do not carry oxygen on board for fuel. The engine removing the need to carry oxygen significantly reduces the vehicle's size and weight. Bingo! So there we go. Some searches there. So that one could be explained, what they were seeing there. And if the Americans are doing it, you can bet the Russians are doing similar.
Even us in the military do not know, about, he goes, it's not, this is what we have. So it is interesting because, and the fact that he is telling us that, he's telling me, and he didn't personally do it, but that one night.
Susan, we're talking about those planes back in the 1960s, right? So yeah, so what have they got now? It's definitely sounds like those. They're going to have cloaking. They're going to have triangle-shaped craft, like what in that picture there. That probably could explain what a lot of the triangles are flying over. It's probably part of the real secret Space Force, not the imaginary one everyone's talking about, reverse technology and all that. So it's probably using some exotic technology still, like the scramjets, but better still, because that's what they were researching back then. more science comes about and cause computer technology and stabilization, where things are unstable, but they can use computers to calculate how to fly a brick in the sky, pretty much, which is basically like the space shuttle was, just a flying brick. So yeah, I suppose we're done with this guy. Don't want to get any copyright claim because we looked at their stupid interview. So they don't seem to do like caller phone in ones. I think the ones that call in, first time speakers. I worked for the military and I want to tell the story. So yeah, we're just finished with those guys. I thought there was going to be something more to debunk near the video. So what have we got from Scott here? We're coming up to 2 hours already. Okay, Starlink. Okay, Starlink. Have we got some pictures? Here we go. Always scroll up, Paul, because it always seems to scroll it down. So already he's talking about some pictures. Can't seem to get it lined up properly of where all the satellites are being tracked. So you can see they're going to be quite visible. So how much have they got up there already? Probably only 1/50th of the satellites they want to put up there. The SpaceX putting a new one up every day or something and just adding to the line. So it'd be like a total ring around the planet. So he's talking about they're not UFOs but SpaceX. So he's looking at a video here on the Starlink tracker. I say, okay, we've got a Starlink tracker. Let's have a look at that then. So it should be on those apps as well that I talked about, into the sky app.org, where you can list all the satellites. So I reckon I've added this one now onto it probably. So what have we got? Select location. Alright, so just click on it and select where you are. Oh, that's pretty good. So I'll post a link to that. Find Starlink. We probably should add it to our collection, shouldn't we, on their homepage. So I should go here, edit, as a bookmark, and reload it. Okay, and what's the title? Starlink, that will do. Save. Okay, I've got a bookmark now to it. So you gradually add more and more. Okay, so I don't know if we can see New Zealand, but we'll soon find out. Christchurch. Find visible times. Many reports of failed sightings were received for Starlink this week. I'm very sorry it didn't work out. I've tried several times and not seen anything. I don't think I've seen anything either when I've been walking, but of course they're only in the sky probably for a few minutes and then they're passed over because they're not a complete ring at the moment. All times displayed. So that's it. Does that mean there's no live map? I don't know. Here we go. So, New Zealand. Zigzaggy. So it is off near the coast of New Zealand there. So I should be able to see it. But what's that mean there though? I'm not sure how you read that map. Doesn't sort of line up with this other one here. You'd think it'd go there, wouldn't you? So of course, I got that one there. What's that saying? Starlink 3. So that one's heading towards us. What's this green one? Green one. Starlink 5. So we can only see a few heading towards New Zealand. That one's moving away. And that's meant to line up there, I think. That's an error. Starlink 3 heading towards us. Okay. Let's try something else. I thought it was like a row of 7 or 8 of them. Results. Go back. Okay. So what's the best location? Well, I did click on it. New Zealand. USA. Where they've been seen it in USA. Arizona. Phoenix. Arizona. Try that one. Live map. No. I don't know how that works. I think it's the same map. Yep. Oh, that's weird. Looks like it's one going South America and one going that way. What's Starlink 5 mean though? Does it mean a whole collection or just one satellite? It doesn't mean. What's Starlink? Okay. It's not told us what we wanted. On Starlink 2, what's this saying here? One of the satellites that has experimental coating to make it less reflective and thus impact ground-based telescopes. Yeah, again, it doesn't say if it's multiple ones or not. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that. How much will SpaceX Starlink cost? You can bet it's going to cost a lot. They're talking about internet. $80 a month. Plus $300 for installation. Are you kidding? I suppose if you're in an outback or somewhere like that, that would be like a godsend for internet, I suppose. How long will Starlink satellites last? Let's see. 6 years. The full system in orbit, 9 years from date of license. 6 to 9 years, is that what they're saying? Electronics will fail. What speed will Starlink be? Internet speed, I think they're talking about. Up to a gigabyte per second, although it doesn't break out upload speeds. Gigabit a second, that's not really much. Gigabit per second. 2 megabytes per second. So it's metric. So it's 1,000 gigabyte per second equals megabit per second. Gigabits per second equals 1,000 megabits per second. So I didn't word it right, did I? 1,000 megabytes. Oh right. I did megabytes. 1000 megabytes is what? Let's see, we can break it down here. Kilobytes per second. It's not really much, is it? 125,000 megabytes per second. 125 megabytes per second. I suppose that's not too bad, is it? That means you can download a movie in, what, 5 seconds? Multiply the transfer rate value by 25. Okay. Moving on. Can I see Starlink? How fast do they travel? Quite a lot faster than International Space Station. So that means they're in lower orbits, I guess. Geosynchronous orbits. It's like double the speed. 36,000 kilometers per second. 7,000 miles per hour. Not per second, what I'm talking about, per hour. It's 36,000 miles above Earth, so it's low orbit, isn't it? Satellite travel about 11,000 kilometers per hour. Okay, that makes more sense. So it's actually slower than the International Space Station by half, not faster. Can I see the satellite tonight? Okay. Still, I didn't understand what the 5 thing is. Is it one satellite or a cluster of them? Doesn't really make too much sense. Okay, so just moving on. What else we got? Civil. Google Earth have one as well. Let's have a look at that one. Regarding Elon Musk and Starlink, I smell a rat. Should try and interview Amber Heard, since she used to tap that. Season. Tappy tappy. Okay. Of course, there'd be non-disclosure, right? So, set flare. So, Star 6 group. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting some answers. So, it's a group of satellites. So, 164 here. Let's just close that down. So, that one's given us a wee bit more information. Now it starts to make more sense. Starlink group. So what's it say here? Group 6. Click here to track the Starlink train, as they call it. Alright. 64 objects. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, where is it tracking? Here we go. That's making more sense. But it's more clustered, isn't it? They've put up the whole train, rather than the other one was putting up just the group name. Okay, so that does it slightly different. Now it's starting to make more sense. Okay, so we need to add that also to our list. We lost someone, have we? Has Charles gone? We had 8 watching there for a while. Did Starlink sort of gotten bored or something? But yeah, we got to watch out for those ones now. And of course, where's New Zealand? Starlink They've got different names here. 1288. So that was saying Starlink 5, wasn't it? On the last map. These ones have got different names. That's interesting. I see though. Instead of calling it group, they've got individual names. So thousands up there at the moment then, is it? Is that what it means? Where's the first number start is the question. What's the lowest number on that screen? It seems to start at 1200, isn't it? 1200 to 1300, which is kind of strange. So that means there's going to be 1100 before and how many after? So yeah, it's going to cost a lot of money putting all that up. Okay, so let's move on. See if we can find some more UFO stuff. What are we looking at here? Right, some more on the star link, is it? Yeah. These are the MUFON database entries for that particular site in that night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 people that weren't sure what they were seeing reported it. 30 plus objects. So we found out we can get up to 64. I saw 50 to 70 orbs. Yeah, that kind of fits. 30 lights. Okay. So that's why I brought that one up. So they'll just bring up the app, see where they're looking, and just say, yep. I suppose it'll be on the Heavens Above link, Heavens Above app. Let's see. Heavens Above app. Include Starlink. Probably does. What's it saying here? Let's set this right one. Heavens Above, it looks like the right one. Here we go. Sightings of train from the latest launch. So it's on the app. And we saw it was going to New Zealand. So they don't list individual ones. So just put up the group name as well, bollocks of it. I suppose it makes it less cluttered. So they just call it a group of train satellites. Okay, so yeah, you can download the app for your mobile phone and just aim it at the sky, and you can debunk your sightings straight away, right? Live sky chart. I've tried Google Maps one, but I haven't tried that one on a tablet and just hold it up to the sky, and it overlays planets and stuff, which is really handy. Venus and all that. Go and give it a try. Where's the app download though? Heavens Above app, Play Store probably, and there's probably one for iTunes. And you can see it's got a fairly good rating, although it can be like 5 minutes too slow or more updating depending on your signal. So the International Space Station may not line up at the time that you're aiming at the sky. Heavens Above app, Droid. I think they probably got an iTunes one too, probably. It's iTunes coming up. iPhone. Okay, they're calling it Sky Live there, are they? Or is that a competitor? Let's have a look. Probably the same people. Ah, there you go. Looks like it's the same company. So I assume that's for the app, Apple version. Hey, Robert's awake. What's the time over there now? It must be after midnight. Susan was singing the saying, "Wake up, still here, just lots to do before my well-deserved bed." He's watching lots of UFO videos. Doing research for tomorrow, hopefully. I'm not sure what you're doing tomorrow. What's the topic tomorrow? If you're there, Robert, so what's give him a preview of what we're going to do in the side chats. Any more Bigfoots? So let's just finish with that one. Alright, so now on to real UFO caught on camera. Remember I talked about episode 4, I think I did. He's saying it looks like a weather balloon. I don't agree. I said it was 2 Mylar balloons. You can see they were spinning around. You can see the shape of them. They were spinning around. Seemed to fit more of a Mylar balloon reflecting than it would with a tear-shaped weather balloon. And plus, we didn't actually see any payload on the length of it. It would have been reflecting some lights off the radar reflectors below. Probably people knew they were there before they'd prank them, right? Some next door neighbour knew they were filming. History Channel probably launched up a couple of balloons just to see if they end up on the show. That's the problem with having Travis on there. He's just a scientist. He's not a video analysis guy. He's not been debunking UFO videos, so he's not sure what he's looking at. You have to do it for years, like I do every day pretty much, to get the feel of what's real UFO and what's not. So what's this guy saying? Not sure if you watched the entire episode, but the sphere was visible for 10 seconds on camera before demilitarized instantly. Well, that's because it popped, you see. And once they pop, the camera doesn't pick it up anymore. And you don't see the material fall down because it happens very quickly. And then reappeared minutes later. Well, that was the second one, right? Because there was a pause. Because it's how it's edited on the show. You got to be careful. The show's not all in sequence of the whole event. And they didn't keep on filming it. You didn't see it on the big screen, right? We saw a close-up of it spinning. Additionally, the scientists in your group are well acquainted with weather balloons as they had launched two with instruments. What else? Highlight reel you have linked to is just a snippet of the video evidence. Please review the data before jumping on conclusions. It's still a balloon though. I thought it strange how it appeared and disappeared. That's because it was two separate balloons, not one. Red balloon, now I'm starting to question you other debunking. So a lot of people are not agreeing with him. What's this one? Caught on my own UFO. Google icon. Joking. Not too sure what he's talking about. Interesting images you retained there. Let's have a quick look what he's talking about. Google icon. Well, he's doing a screen snapshot of his phone. Not sure if he's joking or not. Not sure how you interpret that. He's saying I'm joking there. Google loon. So he's saying it's a loon balloon. Not icon. I misread it. Is that icon or loon? Hang on. My eye's not that good at the moment. Google loon. Okay, that makes more sense. Have they still got it up there, have they? Google loon balloon. Let's have a quick look. I thought it was cancelled. I thought they abandoned it because we got the SpaceX now that's doing it. Loon. Now we'll see. Might be a wiki page on it. Was it cancelled at all? Looks like they still might be going then. High altitude balloon rather than doing satellites. It's cheaper, you see. There's the payload there. It doesn't say it's been cancelled, does it? Let's see, it's like 2 stories high. (2017), yeah, but are they still going? Has it been cancelled? Oh, here we go. Cancelled by USA patent. What's that mean? Been cancelled. Trademark office. So, what's that mean? Google Internet Balloon spin-off loom still looking for its wings. 2019. Look like a genuine business. 2018. The lawsuit that could pop Alphabet's project. Alphabet seems to run the world, doesn't it? The Alphabet Corporation. So again, it's all lawsuits and not allowed to do this, and you got to pay billions of dollars to various people to use their idea. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. I'd say it's probably been cancelled by the looks of it. They're talking about spin-off. Google will get the first commercial trial. So it looks like something's going on. In Kenya. Okay, what do we got coming up here? Nope, we don't want to know about that. How do we get rid of that? Get the big test. So why is it a spin-off? To get around all the copyright bullshit? Obviously. Something happened there. I don't know. It's not too clear. So it looks like they're still mucking around with it then in Africa. So I wonder if he's in South Africa or somewhere like that. Okay, what else we got? So everybody's talking about twice. Nah, Myla Balloons already covered it days ago. See, you can see UFO interest doesn't reply to him. But anyway, I think that's all that he's got up there, apart from repeating stuff. So on with the last bit, I suppose it'd be MUFON cases. So who's still with us? Has Charles gone to bed? I know some dropped off there before. Or here, I think Robert's gone. He didn't post anything in the side chat what he's going to do. Hopefully he's posted it in Discord, because I won't know what to do for Q&A after this one. So I have to check that after this show. Susan will know if he's posted there. Last time, I don't know what he posted. I had to sort of make it up. The UFOs period. I'm not sure what if that was a cut and paste gone wrong. So I thought maybe it was a trick, you know, he's going to do, as in shut up, UFOs period. You know, don't argue anymore. Or talking about a period where there was a group of UFOs. So, and then it turned out he actually meant UFOs and Bigfoots. So yeah. I think he's been breathing in too much of the fumes of his home brew. He said he was in the basement working on the home brew and he messed up the pasting or something. I don't know. Anyway. So we're going back to UFO Stalker, which are MUFON. Is owned by MUFON, and it's an easy way to visualize their horrible text-based database. Unfortunately, it doesn't list enough information that's in the database, like whether it's been closed, and all those pictures, extra pictures that come in that they don't post at the time. So let's have a read of this one. It's just a story. It might be interesting. If it will scroll without going super fast. I still haven't worked out how you can sort that out. I think it's part of the browser. Scroll speed. It's syncing.
One night when I was driving home from work around midnight, I saw a bright light in an open field. I know that sounds cliché, but it was about 20 to 25 feet off the ground with a cone-shaped light, almost as if it was an intense spotlight. The fact that it was in an open field, I thought that a farmer in the area was doing some late-night work with a cherry picker and a spotlight. It was bright like a floodlight, so I thought it was from some guy. But when I went to turn my head to the left to look out the window to see what the old man farmer was doing, something told me to just drive. I then said in my head, holy cow, it could be a UFO, and I went turned my head even more fervently, and it was almost as if somebody grabbed my head and cranked back and slammed on the gas for me. I freaked out and drove away. The next day, I was driving to work past the same area. I looked in that area and there were no tracks or anything on the ground that would indicate there was a cherry picker or a tractor or a truck or anything with tires. Now, I have worked on many film sets and I've worked outside often at all hours of the day. I know there is no way that you could get a light that far off the ground, that bright of intensity, without having tires on something. I never reported it because we lived out in the middle of nowhere in southern Utah. I thought I was just overreacting. As far as I could tell, I was the only person there. I was the only person on the road that night. I didn't see any other vehicles driving around, or any lights on any of the buildings that it was near. It was about the ground in an open field near what I would surmise was a barn. It was about a good 200 yards off the main road.
So it sounds very similar to the Irish guy that we had on talking about. He thought it was a tractor lights at first on a hillside. This one thought it was similar, but you can actually get these helium LED lights now that illuminate the ground like a high mass light, so they can go higher than a cherry picker. So these people don't realize that there's technology out there. So you can talk about helium, lead, spot lights for a work site. So if you're doing like harvesting, you can do it at night time, right? You could use these things anchored to a tractor and just tow it along. And it's illuminating what you're seeing, you know, so you can actually carry on at night time or after the sun goes down anyway. So you always got to check out what's latest technology is. Sight lights, I suppose. We're looking for helium ones. They look like a big, huge weather balloon that's got powerful lights inside it. But I'm not sure what they're called. Optimization of helium inflation. Let's see, go to images. So here we go. Let's bring up the usual small ones. Construction site, maybe I have to use. We'll get it right. Helium, lead, light, construction. Here we go. So they've got ones for parties now, by the looks of it. So let's have a look at that one. I'm not sure what that is. It looks like an add-on. But here you can see the helium ones here, not too high up. Construction sites can go really high. So like I said, they can tie it on tractors. Look how big that one is there. I'm not sure what's at the bottom of that one there though. Is it like a van or four-wheel drive? All-terrain vehicle towing it around. That makes sense, doesn't it? So you can raise that up as high as you want, I guess. I'm not sure if it's using a generator or battery on the vehicle, but it's possible. Here's some other ones on portable tripods, bit like the cherry picker that he was talking about. So they don't have to be like that at all, do they? What's this one here? See, they're working at night. They got the tripod ones, personal portable ones. So there's not too many pictures apart from that big tractor one. Here's another one. Above a stadium, is it? Looks like some outside event. And it's illuminating the water there. We've got the high mass lights here, is it? Where is it? Which ain't the same thing. It's like just highlight. Looks like a telescopic thing that goes up from a portable generator. It's not quite the same. Oh, look how bright that one is. Here we go. That's what we're talking about. You better see that from a long way off. So it looks like they're blowing air into it. Maybe not even helium on that one. It might be like a blow up one, like you get those ones outside buildings. And it might have a big 1000-watt bulb down here that's shining into the balloon itself, and then it's radiating out at the top. So yeah, here's another one. On posts, using on a fountain or something like that in Las Vegas, is it? So another variation idea there. Here's one for a vent. That one looks like it's high up. Where's it anchored to on that one? You can see we've got cables going up here. So I'm not sure if that one's dangling from a tree or not. It's hard to tell. But anyway, you get the idea. So we got no pictures or anything on that one, unfortunately. So let's go back. So like I said, you got to create a list of all possibles, and then once you can cross all those off, then if you're left with UFO at the end, you can say it's an unknown craft of some sort. So how's the audio sounding? Still okay? I'm just doing a check over here before I carry on. So where did we get to on the pictures? So it looks like we got some more pop up since we last did it a couple of days ago. Okay, so we're looking at Starlink satellites again, are we? What's this one here? Is it opening? So what's people saying? Right. Topics. So he posted it into Discord, did he? He must have gone to bed. Amy, Queensland UFO. Wellsville UFO. What's the title for this one though? Oregon police capture UFO sound 1981. So that's what Robert's doing tomorrow, early morning again. A wee bit earlier. Normally try and do his 1 hour earlier. So it makes it a wee bit harder for me, but looks like I didn't click it. So this one's in SI. What's that? Sicily or something? What's that say there? SJ. Sand Springs, Oklahoma. What's SJ stand for? Oklahoma. I thought it would have been OK or something for the number. So what are we looking at here? Yeah, let's read it out. Because my eye is playing up again.
The shadows are too large to be cast from something above behind the satellite. They appear to be party material, allowing visibility of the ground below. One resembles multiple video evidences of flying craft, which is what caught my attention initially. Furthest eastern pic link, https www.google.com maps at 80.2616526, 24.72850112, 3279 8, 35y, 90h data equals 3 meters, 1. 1e3 https, Twitter. Canadian Carmi status 1253791091150729218.
So normally when they start advertising, I think MUFON just ignores them. Especially if they have multiple posts on their own stuff. Hang on, is this the Starlink stuff again? Now, what are we meant to be looking at here? We've got some missing bits on the map information. Is that what we're looking at? Black squares. He's thinking they're triangles. This is why I don't like people that keep looking at Google Maps all the time. There's the second one. Oh, it has to be a triangle. Shadow of another satellite could be covered onto a mountain. No, it's just missing information. You gotta remember it's all stitched together on Google Maps. Multiple images all stitched together. If they don't get a complete set, you end up with missing data. What's all that? Anyway, so we can do away with that one. On to the next one. I won't bother looking at that. He watches too much of Third Phase of the Moon, that one, I think. Where's all the other images here? That's kind of weird. Let's reload it. No, it's still not coming up. I'll just click on it, see what comes up here. England. Says it's got no pictures. What's it say? Let's see, Linwood meteorite shower. Caught up one entire time, went out last night. Saw the usual satellites go past. I know this as I put my phone on charge. Another satellite, it was slow. I was looking, I noticed a slight trail and a second light traveling alongside. Could that be a plane? I saw roughly 2 inches. You held my arm up. So where's the video? Couldn't get anybody to witness it at the time. So yeah, it could be anything again. Again, the photos are all blank, which is kind of strange. Probably something happened there on the upload. What do we got here? Black Triangle, Georgia.
I was in Douglasville, Iowa. Was a very bright light overhead as I entered the on-ramp to I-20 east direction. The light vanished, but after driving 45 miles to Conyers, I looked west and through it was, so I took pictures only to look back at the photos to see a triangle and a share-shaped object.
Okay. So we talked about triangles before, weren't we? No reference point. What are we looking at? Doesn't make any sense, does it? It looks like an out of focus blob. Okay, what have we got here? Needs to be rotated around, I think. Looks like it's low down in the horizon. Where you get the International Space Station flying past, right? If it's way further up here, you probably could say it was something else. So let's just open it up properly. We'll just use the usual thing, viewer. So what are we looking at? 3 lights are forming a triangle. They look like high mask lights to me. You can see a post coming down there. High mask, and is that a lens flare? Well, it looks like it, doesn't it? Smaller than the main lights. And what else we got? Power lines. And you can see there's something here that's illuminating quite brightly as well. Or a nighttime shot. I don't think it's from his flash. So that means there must be a light above here. But yeah, this looks like it's gonna be a lens flare. What shape have we got there? That kind of looks like 2 bulbs, I would say. 2, maybe 3 bulbs. Let's have a look. 3 bulbs on that one. Oh, there we go. 2. So you got to work out the flashing this way probably, and then inverted. So you got to invert that one and put it on a slight angle, and it'll probably be that one up there. Okay, so let's carry on. What else we got? Still only a photograph. And what do we got here? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, there you go, 3 lights. Now that's where the triangle bit comes in, right? And look, here we go. Similar images. Yeah, someone aiming at a high mask light there, getting the 3 LED bulbs. So he's saying it's similar to that, is he? Or is he saying that's what he saw? Because that makes sense. Makes sense that it's actually lens flare. I bet he didn't see it with his eyes. Did he say he sees it with the eyes? Probably only saw it on the camera. Vanished, but during the drive I looked west and took pictures. Yeah, it's hard to know if it's seen that from that spot there or not, because he's saying he was driving. So yeah, it still leaves a wee bit of a question mark there. Could he seen a lead balloon? They could easily be lead balloons as well. 3 of them. 3 lights in the sky are always going to form a straight line, triangle, or a dot if they all line up at the same place, right? That's the only 3 things that can occur with 3 lights. Unless you got a video of it, we can't see how it was moving, whether they were stationary. So let's carry on. But that one he put up example was clearly lens flare of high mass lights. Okay, what's this one? Of course, I got no critical thinking according to MUFON. What an idiot. He hasn't clearly watched any of my stuff. James. So things have been getting leaked more and more. I actually got to see some of the new railgun ship not long ago. They're working on the ship for it. So a railgun is like electromagnetic propelled bullet or missile. So instead of using rockets, they use a magnet, and it zooms along a rail, gets it up to speed, and then shoots off the plane or drone or whatever at certain speed, or even a fighter jet. You know, the fighter jet, they use steam and a tow line on the aircraft carriers. Let's see, railgun. But a railgun is like shooting projectile. Makes sense that they'd be doing electromagnetic bullets. I remember that scientist that was trying to create the longest gun to fire payload into space. He was doing it with multiple explosions along the tube, and he'd say you'd have to replace the inner tube. What was the guy's name? He actually got killed by Israeli intelligence because he was working for Saddam Hussein, and they were worried that they were getting closer and closer and putting a nuclear payload in the railgun and firing it at them. I think that might be part of his project there, is it? I know he was on American side, or Canadian side, doing it for the time being, and they killed the funding, so he went elsewhere. New testing phase. So I think they may have restarted up the project. By the looks of it there. But they're using explosives. So what's that one there? I know NASA are working on a railgun to try and launch satellites into space. Without using rocket fuel, or at least get it most of the way there before firing rockets. And there we go, electric field, force. So what they firing there? A rocket. Doesn't quite say. It's got a little triangle shaped plane there. So I wonder if they're still doing that. What year was that? So there you go. Side chat as good as sidetracked. Seems to be various reports on it. And we have to open it up, I suppose. ABC, is it? What year was that? So not last year, not that long ago. Building bunkers again. So yeah. Earlier this week, prominent WeBio defense blogger posted an image that appeared to be a Chinese naval warship carrying a electromagnetic railgun. Okay, so if the Chinese are doing it, the Americans are going to do it. So where did you see it, James? Was it America? What country? There was a video of them firing it. Yeah, well, it's not that old. It's a year old. I wouldn't say it was old news, but going back to Iraqi war, when the guy was working on the biggest gun in the world, firing stuff into the orbit, because that was based on, he got the idea from one of those old 1950s sci-fi movies where they fire the bullet from it and goes into the moon. He said it should be possible, and it should be if you got enough energy, and of course you can control it long enough before it destroys the actual thing that you're firing it from. So they had to make it so it could be fired multiple times before you had to pull out the inside and refurbish it, obviously. But if you can do it without explosions and use electromagnetics, that's the way to go. Super weapon. Use of conventional explosives to fire a projectile instead of using an incredible powerful electric circuit to launch a projectile. So they're using electromagnetics technology forms part of a suite of next generation weapons. Russia, it's mentioned here now. So they're all at it. Tests have shown the projectiles from railguns can be fired at 2.5 kilometers per second over distances of 200 kilometers. So that gets a bit of a worry. You can imagine terrorists getting their hands on that and firing a nuclear payload into America. A ship in Sydney. Here we go. So it looks like Australia's into it, working with America probably. Conductive metals such as copper. Interesting stuff. I'll post a link to it so you can go and read it fully if you want. I wasn't going to make this a free for all, but you can come on and talk about it if you want to. Let me know on the side if you want to come on, talk on voice. We can give you... I can start the software and let you get access to it. Gulf Coast Shipyards, America. Is that near Florida? China got it in the hack where... Yeah, they probably stole it from all that secret spying they were doing. To hurry out and get it. Yeah, Americans are doing a catch-up at the moment. China's way ahead because they've stolen the plans and because they got more resources to work on it. He's too shy. Okay. Oh, well, we'll just carry on with the MUFON cases then. But yeah, you could have told the story. You could come on voice only. You don't have to be on picture. And you can just call in on your mobile phone. It's free, definitely in America. Let me know if you change your mind. But yep, what do we get up to? What's this one here? Did I read out that one? Okay, let's have a look. I'm probably going to have to wrap up soon. Oh, it's coming up to 3 hours already. Very soon. Again, see, we've hardly gone through it all and it's already run out of time. Come on. That icon keeps disappearing. It's really annoying.
While letting the dog out for his nightly break, I seen a large and strange light in the sky to the northwest. I had never seen anything like it before and knew it was a UFO. I called into the home, and the second witness came outside with the phone used to take the pictures. We both went across the yard to get an unrestricted view and took 2 pictures on a cell phone. The object we seen is not what we seen in the pictures. The object was watched for 10 minutes total and appeared to travel northwest along a solid path away from us. It began to become smaller in the sky as time ran by. The second witness believes the object went up and down then left and right while following the path away from us. I will upload 2 pictures. First picture is long and cigar-shaped and not anything special to look at. Second picture is round and it appears to have 2 or more faces in it, unlike anything I have ever seen or ever heard of. I not only believe it was unknown, but I, along with the second witness, remain completely baffled by our view of this object.
So, what are they saying? It's paranormal? It's got a face in it? To me, how that started up sounded like the International Space Station flying overhead. And maybe 2 other satellites, which made it seem like it was going left and right. That's what it sounded like there to me. Let's have a look. Okay, you're right, there's not much to look at. What's all that in the background there? Not cloud cover, is it? Reflection in the window, maybe? Could be a hoax. Kind of looks like a cupboard full of shirts there on hangers. Is that what we're looking at there? Kind of weird. Let's save it and enhance it and see what we got. Is that the biggest we got? Okay, save. So it looks like I'm talking to myself then. What else is new? What's we saying? Oh yeah, they have to go really fast because they lose speed because they've got no other energy once they leave the ramp, right? So you have to get the speed up as fast as you can and the lowest drag, and then eventually it's going to have to fire in engines and stuff, or it comes down and explodes if it's just a bullet or missile, whatever. Yeah, so saved it. But yeah, if you want to come on sometime and talk about it, we can arrange. We'll probably do another free-for-all. Not sure what's happening next week. I've got some coding to do. I got lots of stuff to do. Behind the scenes and research, of course, lots of stuff to watch. So I can bring you stuff to analyze, or the best of stuff that I come across. So yeah, there's a lot of rubbish out there. So you could see something in the background there. So what are we looking at exactly? Oh, my arm's gone to sleep. Again, I'm sliding off the bed. It's terrible, I tell you. I have to save up for a new bed, but they're not cheap, are they? It's always something. So what are we looking at? Lens flare. What's that funny pattern there? So I thought maybe that was a hanger going to a shirt. Another shirt behind, another shirt. But why would you have a whole heap of shirts in the window? Definitely looks like it's coming over a window here. We're getting reflections. So what are we looking at? Ah, it's a tree. Tree limbs, I think. But why is it so blurry? Is it because it's reflecting inside house lights or something off a window? So you can see a branch coming down here. Branch. 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 And it kind of looks like a shirt's hanging on a wire. Yeah, so what is that? I don't know. We can do a cut around it. But it could just be fake, of course. I don't like ones that are taken through windows. Could be just lead balloon, of course. They saw it move left and right, so who knows. Could be legit as well. Again, it's a wee bit suspect, this one, in my book. Resize. Kind of looks similar to the last one we saw, which turned out to be possibly lead balloons or high mass light causing lens flare. So whatever that is, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's a UFO shape to me though, does it? Kind of looks like it could be a balloon with another balloon behind that's sort of deflated a wee bit. And it's overexposed because of the camera. Could be lens flare even, you know, you've got a lot of light source here. Going off the balcony. Let's go back to the thing. See, there's definitely a lot of light source reflecting off the balcony here. That could be creating the pin light here, you see. So let's have a look at the next ones. So, is there any more? Okay, it's on the other side of the window, and you can see how much it's dimmed down now. So yeah, I don't know. Definitely doesn't look like a UFO though, does it? I'll just do the super zoom on it instead of bringing it in. Looks very wishy-washy, like a light source. Yeah, it's out of focus, I think, as well. So that doesn't really help us much. Overexposed again. Yeah, so spud cam again. Looks like I might have to wrap up now, guys. So what are we getting on to? 3 hours. I need to move my arm before it drops off. What are you saying? Looks like smoke. Yeah. That's what happens with foggy nights and the water and moisture in the air. We call it atmospherics, just to class it as something. So as it's passing through, it's illuminating the droplets in the air. Of course, you don't see it unless you play around with filters. I have actually got a video of my security cam here somewhere as experiment. Why is that one disappeared? Google deleting my videos. No, that's there. Yeah, how long ago did I do it? Ages ago. Security, that was December. Oh, we do a lot of stuff here. Let me... Well, it was before that, after that. Probably missed it. Where's my security cam? Where it was a misty night, of course. It looked like a load of spirit orbs floating around. Must have missed it. I'm not even sure what I called it. Could be that one, is it? No. That was a MUFON case, that one, with the TR-3B. It turned out to be the International Space Station and satellites. And what we thought was the triangle shape was actually stars in the sky, because they form triangle patterns. Oh, here we go. Spooky. So this is off my security camera. A cheap $30 one. Had some music on it, I think. Spooky music. So you can see it's a 4:3 one. I'll just mute that. So yeah, you can see here it's got streaks going across like smoke. There's actually water vapor on long exposure. You can see here it's nicely raining, but it's actually fog outside. That creates those little, what you see on a lot of these paranormal shows. That's because the frame rate there is a lot less even than 30. And the lens stays open longer to trap more light to the sensor. You can see as the wind blows, the direction of the droplets change. So I'm zooming in there, and you can see that was a street light there, I think, shining down. You see all the fogginess around it. So it's quite easy to make UFO videos, is what I'm pointing out there, all ghost videos. So really it was like a training one. What do you think it is? And at the end I tell you. But yeah. I think I just saw something drop down here, was it? Sometimes you get a spider on a web. They're quite cool. They look like the sort of a UFO orb floating around. Sometimes you get the moth flying through the screen. And also there's a street light at on another camera angle. You can't see on this one, which I'm just using a normal smartphone. Further up here, here we go. It's just a normal smartphone that's we don't use anymore. Just turned it into a IP camera. So old basic Android 4 phone. And when you get the street lights, you can get triangle patterns occurring. In fact, they've replaced it with even brighter ones now, LED ones. Anyway, maybe I should do an update. Yeah, so go and check out, if you're new to the channel, go and check out all the videos. Sundays we do UFO cases with Roberts, and Saturdays and midweek generally open lines or video analysis, looking over videos to see what we think could be real versus non-real, mundane stuff. So we did that one there, did we? No. What's this one? Just read out that one and maybe leave that for today. Again, we've only done a few MUFON cases.
Update to first filed MUFON case report 108,117. Tonight the object came from the west and headed northwest. I went out at 8:04 p.m. Central Time, and it was very bright in the sky even though the sun hadn't fully set. It remained bright but would go in and out of brightness like it was slowly pulsing. It traveled slowly and just blipped out of the sky at 9:41 p.m. Central Time and was no longer seen in the sky. It acted differently than we had seen it the rest of the week. It started out in the west, not in the north, and instead of going due west it went from the west to the north and east. It didn't stay as long as it had been either. I got some good photos and some video on my iPhone, but it isn't the best camera. I tried to get some close-up and far-away shots. In the sky it looked diamond-shaped, but when I took photos and videos it looked circular. We live close to Lake Charles Regional Airport. There hasn't been much air travel, but tonight there were a few helicopters after the sighting all headed for the airport. We saw one plane fly low over the back of our home. Not much else happened after that.
Okay, so we know the diamond shape is caused by how you focus in the camera, and if it's near focal length, I think it is, you get the shape of the iris, which is like some of them have these shutters that go over the lens to stop light getting to it, so it can process it every so many seconds. Some of the expensive cameras can do 8,000 per second, and these electronic shutters have a maximum speed they can do. The cheap ones, the cheaper cameras, use actual layered glass, which they charge and discharge, and when they charge it, it goes clear, and when they turn off the charge, it goes black. So it makes an artificial electronic lens, which doesn't use the iris. But some smartphones do still have a rectangular iris, which forms a diamond shape. So let's have a look anyway. So there it looks circular. Again, kind of looks like it could be anything, right? Could be another one of these damn alley balloons now. The commonplace. Could be a weather balloon even. Which that shape as well. You know, the man-sized ones that don't go up as high as the big two-story ones, but still get up to plane height. That could be like a weather balloon. Looks very similar to a weather balloon that's being illuminated by the sun. So weather balloon. Images. That one there. It looks like that one there. But we can't see the payload on it. That's the only problem, as we can't see a payload, but it is fair way away. We could save that and put it through the editor, I suppose. and see if something pops out. But you can see how many pixels we're dealing with here. Looks like it's drifting on air current, doesn't it? No video, so the video would give us a lot of clues, right? Right, we've got some video down here. Filmed the wrong way. So let's download it, see how long that takes. If you're new to the channel and you like what we're doing here, give it a thumbs up. Do a like on the channel, it helps us out. Also, we've now got Super Chat finally. It's taken a long time to get it, 3 years. So if you want to send a buck or two our way, it helps cover the licenses that we use for the show. And of course, wear and tear on the equipment. Okay, I might be down now. Let's have a look at the video first. Where is it? Here. I'll just drag it across in a minute. Let's see, is it going across? I can hear a buzzing sound. No, it won't let me go across. Why is that? There we go. Air conditioner in the background. Is that what we're hearing? That's too big, isn't it? Come on. Is it not moving? Let's see if we can resize this a wee bit. Again, kind of looks like a weather balloon, doesn't it? Going straight up. Is it getting smaller? It looks like it's getting smaller. Very slowly though. Yeah, and why did they stop filming it? Why not just keep on filming it until it disappears? It's kind of suspicious. So, where's the video? I mean the picture. Must be that one. Yeah, we'll do some color changes on it first. Just have a look. Brightness. I can definitely see some cloud cover behind there. But let's do a color swap. Thanks for the extra like there, guys. Spacing how many haters we get down voting here. Yeah, not much is popping out, is it? So I might have to zoom in on that one. Looks like there's some cloud cover there though. And of course it's being filmed through a window, which doesn't help. So we can't rule out it being a reflection from a LED light behind. But I would expect to see more popping out if it was a reflection. See, it seems to fit in with the cloud. So that's a cloud mess. That's the edge of the cloud that we can't quite see in that picture, but it's there, and it's sort of like a darky haze there. So there's a layer of cloud here. Okay, so let's zoom in on it. Who's learning stuff? Susan, you should be. 1080. Okay. So if the payload's behind, if it's going upwards in this direction, we expect the payload to be here, which could explain why we're not seeing it, because it's right underneath the balloon here that's being illuminated. So let's see if something pops out. Is it a cable I can see? There was a point where I had something there. I thought I could see a line coming down this way. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. You can see it looks like a crumply edged balloon happening. Of course, it may not be a weather balloon, but could be one of these LED balloons again. Sometimes you can just pick up something, just doing the color swap. But of course you're adding artifacts here. It's changing slight variations of blue and grey colours into others. But look here, looks like there's something coming down this way. Very faint, but it almost looks like a line coming down to something here. But it's hard to tell. Does almost look like something coming this direction. Just not enough dots to work with. Now let's just try one of the other filters. Lighten, darken. Yeah, it's doing a similar thing. Contrast. Does look like there's something coming down this way. Well, if we've got a cable on a UFO, it sort of rules it out, you see. It does look like there's a little streaky thing happening. But yeah, my eyes are not terribly good at the moment, so I'll have to leave it at that. I was hoping something was really going to stand out. But I always see something coming down that way, but anyway. Not a UFO, I don't think. It looks like a weather balloon. Most likely course LED balloon, second one. UFO would be like the last on the list. Anyway, better wrap up now. What's the time? Normally people don't like too terribly long videos or live streams. But people like, when they join, they like then just to watch along. But I need a break. I've been doing it for 3 hours since this morning. I think we've covered quite a bit today anyway. I'm not sure what that other video is here. Why is that one black? Well, we'll just pass on that one anyway. So if it was like a cluster of LED balloons, and if they saw it go left and right, that was on the last one, you could say some broke off, the string broke. So there's all sorts of possibilities here. What else we got here? I'll just skim through. Right, what's that one there? Okay, I thought it might have been a UFO, but it looks like trees. And a bug. There's some cows. They're going to be abducted. Is it cows or horses? Horses, I think. Is it? Horses. Quite a lot of horses there. So what's that smudge there? That looks like a fly, doesn't it? It's got the triangle shape. Let's just do that one. I just like doing these things, but I need to get away, a break. It's a fly right close to the screen when he took it. Let's see if we can see the shape of it. Yeah, so we got super chat revenue here. I think we've yet to test it out, see if it updates, but I think it puts in New Zealand dollars instead of American dollars for some reason. So let's just grab that one. I closed it down now, didn't I? That's alright. It doesn't take long to open it. Yeah, let's see if we can adjust it first. You can see this has got a whole bank of colours. Brightness. It still looks like a blowfly or something like that. With some motion blur. What's that coming down there? Looks like there's something coming down there. Let's zoom in on it. Definitely some insect with some long legs or antennas of some sort. What did he say in the report? Let's have a look. Of course, he's taken a second picture and it's gone. That's because flies move pretty close to the screen are gone. Okay, so took 2 photographs of horses. Showed no spot 5 seconds later. Of course not. So he didn't see it with his eyes. Okay, let's copy, paste. And you can see there's something coming down here. We normally call them blur flows because they could be bugs or birds. Fly close to the screen. Could that be antenna coming down or a wing? Could it be a bird that was really close to the lens that it flew by? You probably could enhance it. Photograph. Sharpener plus. Doing it. Sometimes you have to select all before it does it. Kind of look like a blowfly to me, but could be a blackbird, I suppose. It's interesting how it's sort of going grainy there, though. Look, kind of looks more like a bug there, doesn't it? You can see it's got admin. Looks like a wing coming up here and a wing coming down here. And the front bit Rex, or what do they call the front bit? And could it be just a black fly? Okay, we'll just cancel that. So you can see how much the sharpen brings out. Let's try some colour. Again. It's got so many colours in this one. So many different shades of black and white. Might just have to try brightness only. Yeah. Let's see how pixelated it is. You can see the individual pixels, right? So it looks like it's got something coming down here. It's not helping us much. Okay, we'll just try contrast. No, it still looks like an insect shape rather than a bird shape to me. But it's certainly not a UFO. A blurfo. Because it's got blur, motion blur. So yeah, what else we got? Darkened. Whoop. Pretty much the same. Does look like it's got something going this way, something coming down this way. Could be a bird, it could be a black fly. Just no detail there. There's not much we can do with it. Anyway, better finish up. And leave it till another day, I guess. We hardly ever get through all the MUFON ones, do we? I bet there's some better ones out there to look at. Yeah, we've got something in the sky here with a plane. I should stop looking though. As we go on forever. But this one again could be a bird. Or a bug closer to the camera again. So yeah, I don't want to really spend time enhancing that one. And it's gone, which means, is it? Well, it's gone further away from the camera. Keep on going. Kind of has a triangle shape to it. Like it's got wings. Like flapping. A bird. Blackbird, some kind. Crow. I'm not too sure. Looks like he's cropped the images there from the original one. He's zoomed in. So they're all the same image. Looks of it. Yep. I thought there might be multiple, which might get some more clues from it. And because the way it moves in the sky, I guess there's a lot of indication if it's a bug or bird. Anyway, I really should stop talking and doing stuff. And it's closed down. What do we got here? Possibly bugs again. What are we looking at? Street. So it's looking in the sun. I'm not seeing anything there. Could it be lens flare? Looks like it. Lens flare because the sun's there. So yeah, probably didn't see it with his eyes. Probably only saw it in the picture afterwards. What's this one here? Close up. And it's moved because he's moved his camera, is it? Yeah. Okay. So, whoop. Too far. We'll just read out this one anyway. I know I should stop. Stop or stop. Keep on going forever otherwise. So you got to take the witness account, see whether it's been faked or not with a lens flare, or it could be something genuine. You see, it could be just like a plane that they saw, or a blimp, advertising balloon. It could be anything like that. Come on. Read it out.
Was contacted by my dad stating that him and 5 other people, some of which included co-workers, were standing outside near NE 45th Street and Trist Avenue witnessing an object flying strangely in the sky. While on their trash route they noticed an older couple standing outside looking up and shielding the eyes from the sun. My dad asked them what they were looking at and he was instructed to look up. That is when he and his co-workers witnessed the strange object. He reported that it would move up, down, left, and right and return to its original position. He said it made no sound from what he could tell and he couldn't quite get a feel for how far or large it was. He attempted to capture video, but it did not show up well. He sent me a few pictures he had taken of the object. Due to time restraints they were not able to stay and monitor the object. The address I provided under my information is not my address. It is a house near where the sighting took place. I chose it arbitrarily, misunderstanding that this was not supposed to be the information of the sighting. I am also reporting this on behalf of my father because he is not so computer savvy. I am sure he would love to share his experience with you if contacted. There were multiple witnesses, but due to the constraints of the submission form I could not include that information in the earlier fields.
Okay, so multiple witnesses, moving left, right and up and down, and though we can't see it in the video, which is unfortunate. Does sound credible, doesn't it? But still, we got the sun, the camera aimed straight at it. It's hard to know whether it's another hoax or not, unless we get access to the case file and whether the investigator phoned up and got other witnesses to talk about it. Could it be a banner plane? Moving left and right. Can't quite get it this super soon. Pixelated, you see? We're down to pixel level. I don't know. Maybe we'll just have a quick look at that one. Let's see. Have they got one? They haven't defaced. Original. Not really. See, that's another thing you see. I just effaced it. See, gang, it doesn't look like a solid cigar shape there. Bit hard to tell. We're down to pixel level there. That's probably wasting time on it. Looks pretty thin for a UFO though, doesn't it? Left to right, could it be a drone from far away? It's a pretty skinny drone. But it certainly doesn't look like a UFO. Incredibly skinny craft if it is. Now I'll leave you to think about that one. I'll post you a link on it. I won't bother analysing it. Oh, who's on the side? Is Susan gone? Oh, Frisbee likes Satan. Could it be some RC toy, maybe? Like a drone? Have $1 million, then elite can go home. 1% of the wealth is owned. And what is it? Most of the wealth is owned by 1%. That's quite a few billionaires. We looked at that last time, didn't we? Bobby Cash, what did he say? Has he changed his name or something? Trust no one. Who invented nicotine? The Indians. No one invented it. Mother Nature invented it. But the tobacco plant come from South America, wasn't it? That's where it originally come from. Then North America. Indians transported it. There's probably, they reckon there's a lot of plants not even been categorized in the jungle still down there. So there could be like cures for the C19 or cancer and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, I'm just going to wrap up now, guys. It looks like more of us are joining now. Unfortunately, you have to go back and watch the beginning of the show if you got time. And we do UFO cases tomorrow with Robert, which sounds quite interesting. Some Australian ones. So let's bring up my end credits. And wrap up this over 3.5 hours now. So yeah, good night everybody. Thanks for joining in, and thanks for hitting the like button and sharing it, of course, when it's completed. Give Google probably 1 hour to process it, and then it'll come up with a side chat. You know, when the side chat's there, that it's all working. So good night, and see you again tomorrow, hopefully around about the same time as what it was today, but an hour earlier.